Welcome to another episode of Out of Spec Dave. Well, you know what? I said it. This is one of the best times right now for you to consider buying a Tesla. In pure economic terms, that's what I'm talking about here. There's lots of things going on in the world right now, craziness, right? And everybody's got their own opinions about this. But what I want to do is I want to just talk dollars and cents, economics. And one of the things I learned early on is that the person who cares the least in any negotiation wins. So with that in the back of my mind here, I'm looking at this market today and I'm seeing three distinct situations that have happened. Some of them a little bit a while ago, some of them pretty recent, and some of them are unfolding right now that are giving potential buyers of Teslas a unique opportunity, perhaps one of the best opportunities ever to buy not only a used Tesla, but a new Tesla. And I'm going to get into it right now. So before everybody tells me I'm crazy and you can't just look at economics, I get that. Look, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now. The country is so divided. We got politics and all that. I don't want to get into that. What I want to do today is I just want to point out three unique situations right now that are happening in the marketplace that are providing an opportunity for someone who is interested in buying a used Tesla or perhaps a new Tesla, a very good car. There's lots of different cars out there, but there's something unique going on with Tesla right now. Three different situations that I want to highlight. So let's get into this right now because I think it's important now. The first point I want to bring up is that a little while back, you may remember in 2021 that Hertz, the rental car company, went out and bought something like 100,000 Teslas. And they thought, oh, you know what? We're going to rent these things out to everyone. And, I've put some videos up on the internet where I have rented Teslas from Hertz. And I've had good experiences and I've had not so good experiences. But one thing has happened. Hertz didn't rent anywhere near the number of Teslas that they wanted to. And the price back when they bought them from an asset being on their balance sheet that they were having to depreciate as an expense, the process of depreciating those cars, it got hammered because Tesla started to lower the prices of the cars. You'll remember, I have a buddy of mine that bought a Model Y, just an all-wheel drive Model Y. I think he paid over 60 grand for the thing. And, and now there's a new Model Y, which we're going to get out and talk about a little bit. But it's amazing. I remember the one night when I was looking at Kathy and I said, honey, they just lowered the price of the Model Y by $18,000. I don't remember the exact numbers, but for those of you who've been following Teslas, you know the deal, right? The Model S Plaids that were like 150 grand, and wait till you see the numbers that are looking on those right now. So much has changed in the marketplace, but Hertz started flooding the market. They started selling. They started getting these cars off their balance sheet, and there are thousands, literally. The number I heard was like 30 or 40,000 of these cars were being sold by Hertz into the marketplace. And at decent numbers, but that's a lot of cars for the market to absorb. And that's happened, starting way last year, before any of the politics that we're going through right now are going on. So the market just got saturated with a lot of, especially Model 3s and mostly Model 3s and Model Ys. So if you look at some of the deals that are out there today on 2021 Model 3s, now you'd have to be careful. I put in I think under 60,000 miles because, you don't want to buy a super high mileage car. But some of these cars here, they say that they are after the IRS rebate of $4,000. So you have to be able to qualify for that. I think it's like you can't make more than $75,000 adjusted gross income as a single, or 150 dual income, something like that. But and you also be careful that the way that the dealers are advertising their cars with the rebate in there, and you may not qualify for it. So there's a lot of bait and switch going on with these dealers. So just be careful. But if you do qualify, you could be buying a Tesla Model 3 with under 60,000 miles for under 20 grand. I mean, there's a ton of cars out here. Now, the search on cars.com I did here was for the nation. And you'll remember that I put a video up a couple of videos ago about with Danny Jetton, who is he's a car hauler. He's a friend of ours, and we did a video on what does it take to actually buy a car if I live in Connecticut out in California and have it shipped. So check that out. I'll put a link in the description to that video. But to me, the entire nation that's my store, right? I don't just buy within a 100-mile radius of where I live. I look everywhere, and you can see there's just so many Tesla Model 3s for sale. I mean, I could pull up the Model Ys as well, but there's just one after another after another. I mean, it would be a tough thing to be a seller right now of a 2021 Model 3 in this market. There's just pages and pages of them. So anyway, that's number one. Let's move on to reason number two. Now, many of you know, and it's exciting, that Tesla just brought out the new refresh Model Y. And it's great. I went and I drove it and I loved it and it's amazing. And in the launch edition, which is the only version available right now, which comes fully loaded with FSD and it's got some nice value to it, but it's 60 grand. Okay. And, that's a lot of money, especially when what you're really getting is they've put lipstick. I don't want to say on a pig, right? They put lipstick because the old Model Y was not a pig. They put lipstick on a beautiful number one selling car, and they refreshed it. And the ride is much better. It's much quieter, but it doesn't charge any faster. It doesn't really have much more range, a little bit because of efficiency, maybe the tires, a little bit in the aero. Great car, and I love it. It's amazing. But when you start looking at the prices of the inventory Model Ys that are out there, the older generation, which are fantastic cars, and there's hundreds of thousands of them for sale right now. There is a dislocation in the marketplace that if you're looking to buy a Model Y long range, you can see this one right here that I could pick up in Mount Kisco if I wanted to. Now, be careful when you're looking at these inventory cars on the Tesla website, because they always try and show you the prices with the $7,500 federal tax credit, as well as the $6,000 in gas savings, which is, I don't know how they calculate that. So let's just assume that you don't qualify for the $7,500, and we're not going to include the $6,000 in the gas savings in there, because I mean, you're driving something now, right? And you're having to you're putting fuel into that. And when you get the Tesla, it's not like they're giving you free supercharging, or if you charge at home, it's going to cost you something to charge this car. Let's be honest. All right. So anyway, that's $44,000 for a Model Y all-wheel drive. And you're getting $4,900 price adjustment. Now, that's not because this has got miles on it. It's not like a demo car. These are a brand new car. And there's tons and tons of them that are for sale. But the real sweet spot, okay, is the Model Y older generation performance. Look at this. This is a car that they're giving an $8,000 price adjustment off of. All right, let's pick one of these Model Ys right here as an example. This is a long-range rear-wheel drive. Let's go for a long-range all-wheel drive. 36,990, is it? 35,090. They're giving $4,900 off the price of that vehicle. I'm going to try and order that now, and it's available for immediate pickup. And I'm going to continue on that. Now I'm going to show the pricing details here. And this is where things get interesting. You can see that because this vehicle is under $50,000 MSRP, it's a $47,990, not including the $1,390 or the $250 ordering fee. You do get a $1,500 in the state of Connecticut where I live, a $1,500 what they call the cheaper Connecticut incentive. And if you do get qualified for the $7,500, then it brings it down another $7,500. We can hide the pricing details and go into that, but the real sweet spot, just to show you here, is on the Model Y Performance. So they're giving $8,000 off of these. Now this is a heck of a buy. Now keep in mind that it'll end up being about $3,000 more, at least in the state of Connecticut, only about $3,000 more than the long-range all-wheel drive Model Y. And the reason for that is because it doesn't qualify for the for the state tax incentive of $1,500. But they're giving so much money off these vehicles right now. And yes, the new Model Y is really nice. I really love it. But is it worth $15,000 more? And also keep in mind that this Model Y performance, the way that it's tuned, is 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds versus the launch edition, which is 4.1. They're still both crazy fast, but the performance, the older Model Y is definitely faster. One thing to keep in mind on there's the performance Model Y. These not arrow wheels. What do they call these? The Uber turbine wheels. They stick out a little bit beyond the rubber, and I don't know if I've not ever seen a Uber turbine wheel that doesn't have curb rash. So if you do get one, be careful, because they get all hacked up over time. And you do have a little bit of a thinner sidewall on the performance model, and it's a little bit of a stiffer ride, but it's not bad. And by the way, this is an amazing car, and it's basically 15 grand less than the launch edition. Now, it's not a pure apples to apples, because the launch edition does come with the FSD. So if I were to add in, let's just say add in FSD here to this car, it would be $8,000 more. So you're able to buy you're able to buy the performance Model Y for, let's call it 7 grand less than a comparably equipped brand new Model Y in the launch edition. Okay. So anyway, lots of reasons why it might make some sense for you to consider a new, older Model Y. Now, the third reason that I want to talk about is a little bit of an economic term that I call externalities. Have you ever gone into a restaurant, and maybe it's a Chinese restaurant, and they come over to the table and they start making the food right at the table, and the steam goes up and everybody goes up, and the thing is that you're paying, as a consumer of that meal, you're paying for that show to be done. But everybody else in the restaurant, they're getting the benefit of what your expenditure is for free, right? And it's a bit of a show. And you don't have to, you're just sitting there, you're having an appetizer, not even a main course, and you're going over there and some guy's ordering that fancy dessert with the flames that go up, or maybe they're getting the Chateaubriand where the waiter comes and cuts the meat right at the table, or maybe it's like when they make the guacamole right at the table, at the Mexican restaurants, and everyone benefits from that, but someone's paying the price, right? And that's kind of what's going on right now in this market, in the used car market for Teslas. Not so much because of the Hertz factor, that's just oversupply of cars, but there are a lot of people that are getting very emotional about politics and about what's going on in the world right now. There is right now an oversupply of people that are not using their economic brains. They just want to dump their cars. And what I'm telling you is, as a consumer, there are some smoking hot deals out there. Do not overpay right now for a Tesla in the used marketplace. Let's go ahead and take a look at Model S Plaids. Now, we're talking about 2022. These are the refresh Model S's, the ones with the horizontal screen. Back in the day, they had the yokes. And you could still get the yoke today, don't get me wrong, but they only came with the yoke. And these things were about 150 grand, 0 to 60 in 1.99 seconds, 1,000 horsepower, insane cars, right? 47 grand for one right here with 68,000 miles, 59,000 miles, 48,990. There's the cheapest one here with 80,000 miles. That's a lot of miles, $44,000. Look at this one right here. 22,000 miles, 45,000. Now, you do have to check the auto check report or the Carfax. Maybe that car was hit. But look at how many of them are out there right now. So what I'm telling you as a consumer who may not really care about what is going on in the world as far as politics, but you may want to get a really good car, just talking pure economics again, this is an amazing time to go shopping for a used Tesla right now. So I just thought I would make this video because, there's a lot of heat in the air, a lot of hot in the air, and I understand it, and I get that, but it's creating buying opportunities. Hertz flooding the market, buying opportunity number one. Tons of Model 3s and Model Ys out there. Buying opportunity number two, a whole conversion from the older generation Model Y to the new generation Model Y. If you want to buy a new Model Y, there's some steep discounts out there, and they're probably only going to get steeper as time goes on. Wait for quarter end. What are we on? March, whatever it is today, 11th, 12th. Wait for quarter end, which is coming up here. You may see even some more economic incentives from Tesla on the older Model Ys that are still brand new, because they got a ton of them sitting out there. And then finally, we just have this situation where people have very strong opinions that just want to dump their Teslas. And, you do what you want. If that's how you feel, I'm keeping my Tesla. I love my car. I review cars. I don't review politics, right? I think my Model 3 Performance is an amazing car. I think this Model S that we're showing you here on the screen, this Model S Plaid for $48,000 with 22,000 miles, if that car hasn't been hit, wow, that is a heck of a deal right now. So anyway, think about what I'm saying. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're just looking at pure economic numbers right now, there are some smoking hot deals out there. Best of luck shopping, and thanks again for watching another episode of Out of Spec Dave.